So when you're growing mushrooms inside a shipping container, how do you maintain the cleanliness inside this container? How do you make sure that the hygiene is on point? Because the container that we're growing in is specifically fitted for food purpose. So how do we maintain that the food purpose inside the container is in a high quality to ensure that we don't get other kinds of mold to compete with the mushrooms that we're growing with? So usually we start by taking out all the Danish trolleys, and then we are just high pressure washing all the trolleys, and we are high pressure washing the container. So as you see here, the container is completely empty now. The next video coming out, I will show you exactly how we are gonna refit this container into the new model that we made. So we found a better way to grow mushrooms inside these containers by ensuring that the climate is much better. If you saw our last video, you will know what we mean, that we want more airflow and we want a continuous stream of air so the CO2 level doesn't rise and it strangles the mushrooms. So as you can see here, we are just finished with pressure washing the container. This wall in the back here we're going to remove because it started accumulating a lot of black mold. So that's not good, and we don't want to keep washing it down all the time, so we're going to remove it. We thought in the beginning that the refrigeration unit behind it would better be sealed off, but we tested the other containers not sealing it off and it works completely fine. And it doesn't accumulate mold in the same sense. So we really considered what we were going to do with this, but we're going to remove it and then just rebuild everything. Next video, we're going to discuss how we're going to rebuild this container into a more efficient way of growing your mushrooms, because if you increase the airflow and if you make it as optimal as possible for the mushroom, you will gain maybe 20%, 30% higher yields just by doing that. So after we've pressure washed everything down, we are going to go with chlorine now. So we're going to put chlorine on everything. We're starting with the walls, the back, and then taking the floor, and then ending it off with the ceiling, just spraying it as we go, so we don't get hit by any chlorine or such. We use a medium chlorine solution, so we kill off all pathogens and everything. Usually we get everything removed and we get it completely cleaned down, so we can operate the container again for 2 months, maximum 3 months. So every 3 months we clean the container, because if we go over this time, there's going to be pathogens and disease and mold. So we want to remove all this. Even though we are growing an oyster mushroom that's not sporulating a lot, we still want to keep everything clean and nice. So because this is like a food production, and we want to ensure that the quality of our products is the highest quality possible. So this is how we are cleaning the container and how we are making sure that we don't get all this mold and all this excess bacteria waste that it goes into the mushrooms. We're just taking this chlorine solution in a sprayer, just spraying it all down. Just making sure that we're getting as much width as possible, starting from up, so it can just trickle down. And then we are leaving it like this for maybe a few hours, and then we are high pressure washing everything out again to make sure that it's nice and clean. So this kills off all spores and everything that we don't want inside the container. So right now you can't smell it, but I'm sure Rasmus he can. So right now, if you like going to water parks, you don't really need that, because you get everything that you get in a water park with the smell in here. So if you like water parks, you will love cleaning mushroom containers.